Breaking news out of our HQ studios, Ndamukong Suh running it back to stay with the Bucs on a one-year deal. I mean, you talk about this defensive unit, a team looking to compete and defend their title next year. One of those key pieces, Ndamukong Suh, in the middle of that defense that took a huge step coming back to Tampa. And look at that unit, Todd Bowles, boy, turning them into a true contender throughout the season, leading to that win of Super Bowl 55. You see it there. Most of the rankings in the top 10, top 15 among that group. And now think about it. Shaq Barrett, he's locked up for a few years. Lavonte David not too long ago. And now you get your big guy in the middle, Ndamukong Suh, the 34-year-old, back in the Bay to run it back with the defending champs. Let's bring in senior NFL writer Jonathan Jones. And your reaction to this deal, Suh back in Tampa Bay on a one-year deal.
Not at all surprised. There's not going to be a whole lot of money out there for Ndamukong Suh on teams that are going to be competing for championships. A lot of hay is in the barn for teams that right now on paper we could sort of pencil in as teams that are going to be competing for their conference's title game. And so he is obviously very familiar there in Tampa. He got the taste finally of that Super Bowl after losing a couple of years ago in Los Angeles to Tom Brady's Patriots. Now joined forces with Tom Brady, and he says, like so many other potential free agents there in Tampa have this past month, you know what? I like it here. Let's try to get another Super Bowl. Maybe I'll take a little bit less money. Right now, the reported deal is $9 million with some incentives that could bump it up. This is a guy who this past season played incredibly well, 50 pressures, the most that he's had at least in 4 seasons. He had 6 sacks, again, the most he's had since the middle part of last decade, and he did so in fewer snaps than he has the last few years. So he has become even more efficient as he has put a little age on him, as he's gotten long in the tooth. This is a really good deal for Ndamukong Suh and certainly a good deal for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
JJ, if we're looking at the front office here, and Jason Light, a few years ago before Bruce Arians was there, you know, his question marks, was he going to be there for the long term? But now you look at the job he's done up to this point, kind of keeping this team together. How would you kind of grade him a little bit so far?
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, I remember when Bruce Arians came on and they extended Jason Light, and I was like, well, I don't know about that. You know, it didn't seem like his quarterback was working out in Jameis Winston. He was on his 3rd head coach as a general manager, and he got extended rather than the Glazer family saying, you know what, we want to see what you do here in a contract year. It has absolutely 100% paid off now. Of course, so much of that has to do with Tom Brady and him being able to secure Tom Brady, and the rest of the NFL about this time last year saying, you know what, we could do without Tom Brady. We'll go with whomever we have out here maybe in the draft. And so it came down to, of course, the Bucs and the Chargers. The Bucs got Tom Brady, and so Tom Brady has helped in any number of ways Jason Light's career and how he can grade out as a general manager. But he, Jason Light, and his front office staff there, Mike Greenberg, and those who are working the cap, the fact that they've been able to get all of these guys under the cap and get them all to stay and incentivize them monetarily, certainly, because what's the product that they're putting out there on the field, that should be incentive enough. But it has been incredible that they were able to tag Chris Godwin, that they were able to reach a long-term deal with Shaq Barrett, that they were able to get Lavonte David on another 2-year deal, that Ndamukong Suh is back, that Gronk, even though he had some suitors elsewhere, that he's coming back. I can confirm now that Ndamukong Suh is coming back. That deal has not yet been signed, but will be signed. But yeah, the fact that they have been able to keep all these guys together, sure, credit to Jason Light, but also, of course, it's the TB12 effect.
We want to look at those the list of free agents again and some other targets when we're talking about the TB12 effect, as you just mentioned there, of keeping that core group around him. What about Antonio Brown, who showed up in the postseason, also scoring in the Super Bowl, or playoff Lenny, who made a strong push, didn't show much in the regular season, but we saw what he can be maybe with the whole offseason. Is there any wiggle room for those two to come back?
Yeah, so really this time last week, or really during free agency, as we were figuring out who was coming back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we knew that there would be 3 guys who would be outstanding, and it would be Ndamukong Suh, Leonard Fournette, and Antonio Brown. So I had Ndamukong Suh as number 1 most likely to come back out of that trio. Now, you start to ask me, who's number 2 there? Well, Leonard Fournette can probably go out and get more money elsewhere. He was given such an opportunity once Ronald Jones went down, and then he showed what he has. But, is Tampa really going to move on from Ronald Jones? Is he going to be back in that same situation where he was not really enjoying himself and the game of football in November and December? Antonio Brown is such a wild card. And there are reports out there that Russell Wilson wants Antonio Brown in Seattle. It became very clear last year that Seattle did not want Antonio Brown. So we're going to see if anything's changed there, if Russell Wilson and what the sort of chaos that he was able to create in the offseason, if that will motivate Seattle to acquiesce and please Russell Wilson. We'll see. Antonio Brown's such a wild card. Frankly, it'd be foolish of me to say, here's what I believe Antonio Brown's going to do, because I'm not sure Antonio Brown knows what he's going to do, but very clearly he has structure there in Tampa, very much likes working with Tom Brady now across 2 teams in 2 seasons. So I think it would behoove Antonio Brown and his career to go back to Tampa. We will certainly see if Antonio Brown sees it that way.
Yeah, it's totally different there in years past. Guys taking less money, why not, to play with the GOAT and more likely to get another Super Bowl. Still wants to play till he's 45, so we'll see how that pans out, of course, next season. John Jones with the breaking news there of the new, talking about the re-signing there of Ndamukong Suh, 1 year to run it back. Taking a look at the odds there in Vegas. No surprise, 8-1 for the Bucs. I mean, all the pieces kind of coming back. We just mentioned there, Chris Godwin's coming back. Shaq Barrett locked in for a few years. Levante David, a part of that defense as well, alongside Devin White, Sue, and others. Still waiting to see what's going to happen with AB and Leonard Fournette, but maybe they can get a little fancy there with the numbers. Jason Light doing a stellar job there in Tampa Bay.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.